It's your ruling.
But I don't, anybody else in the practice?
Did I get the
I just don't want to see an urgent care dog.
Well, they said weather permitting, and I go, well, yeah, it was windy, but that's never stopped racing.
Hold on, talk with Kate.
We don't want
I
them
guess I
kitty
am
kids.
tomorrow.
Come on now. I remember when my son, we lived in Illinois, when
I have no
can't
choice.
remember what the date was, but he went out and he had a kid with 2 shirts under his uniform, a turtleneck, and,
Still cold.
oh my gosh.
Welcome
Of
to
course,
My
he's
Cell
left fielder, so.
Speak until a participant
let me give it
shows,
to you,
then
Kate.
press
God.
pound.
His mom was cool. Need to go tell her.
I just heard something.
That was like 43
Hello?
when I was taking him going.
There he is.
We hear you, bud. We hear you.
All right,
And everybody else
You
in
can
this
hear me
chamber
now?
can hear you as well.
okay.
Michael, we good to go? Okay, we're ready to go, sir. There's a 4 or 5 second delay. Come on. Josh, we're still seeing the
Logo.
logo screen out on the TV. There we go.
We got it.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. We appreciate you being here. If you would stand, the Vice Mayor will have our invocation and lead us in the pledge.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for your love in times of hardship and sorrow, as well as in times of joy. For the many gifts you have given us, we are truly grateful. We thank you for the blessings you have bestowed upon our city and our people. We give thanks for our community, for those who serve in so many ways. We humbly ask your guidance as we discuss issues that affect the lives of our citizens. Please give us discernment, patience, mercy, and kindness as we make decisions. With us, amen. Let's face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kerry, thank you. The first item on our agenda is a special presentation. It's the proclamation dealing with Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we've got some folks here from the Exchange Club, and I'd like to have all of them join me at the podium, if you would, please. He's gonna come if you tell him to, I'll guarantee you that. He's moving now, isn't he? Came up here, didn't you? I did. I know. All right, it's a pleasure for me to read the proclamation. Whereas the City of Poquoson applauds the Exchange Club of Poquoson for its dedicated work in the prevention of child abuse in our community. And whereas the City of Poquoson commends Exchange Club of Poquoson for its promotion of ongoing programs in our community which are designed to help prevent child abuse. And whereas the City of Poquoson stands firmly on the side of prevention of any type of abuse and believes no child should endure verbal, emotional, or physical abuse for any reason. And whereas the National Exchange Club adopted the prevention of child abuse as its national project in 1979 in response to a request by its national president, who, as a physician, noticed an increase in child abuse cases in the medical practice. Since then, April has been designated as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and the City of Poquoson supports and encourages all of our residents and community leaders to wear blue each Monday in April in observance of Child Abuse Prevention Month. Now, therefore, I, Gordon C. Helsel, Jr., Mayor of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, do hereby proclaim the month of April to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Poquoson in recognition of our commitment to healthy, happy children and to help eliminate child abuse in our community and to support the efforts of the Exchange Club of Poquoson and all others who observe this important cause in their mission to bring awareness of the tragic problem to the forefront and to help make our community a stronger and a more loving city where children will be able to grow and thrive without fear. What a great initiative this is. And we thank all of you for participating in that. And would you like to say a few words? Sure.
Mayor Hessel, members of the City Council, City Manager Wheeler, I'm Steve Geiger, President of the Exchange Club of Poquoson, and we're the largest club in Virginia, and I might say the best. And on behalf of the Poquoson Exchange Club, thank you for acknowledging and promoting our focus of the month of April on child abuse prevention. We all understand the great value of our children in ensuring a bright future for Poquoson and our nation. We also recognize that many challenges our children face today are different and in some ways more difficult, and they may also result in abuse. I want to acknowledge the outstanding leadership of our members, and most importantly, our chairperson, Pat Green, and her committee. The members here this evening that represent part of her committee are Sis Ambrose, right here, our treasurer, as it turns out, also, and my lovely wife, Gay Geiger. This year, not the least I must mention, we're proud sponsors of our new high school Excel Club. And these have a wonderful sponsor, and many of you know her, and you should know her. She's Becky Morrison, and their club president, the capable, and many of you know her, Alyssa White. Now, there are 38 members in this club the first year, and they're doing some wonderful things. Our activities for the whole club this month include planting blue pinwheels by the signs that you all know as we welcome coming into the city, and the city marquee displaying a child abuse prevention message, bags containing literature to be handed out at the food bank and also at the library with parents and children. Tips for the parents each day in April that are on our website for Facebook. So those are very helpful, and you should look at those. And new this year, and of many things, The Excel Club is going to place a tree out in the hallway outside the library, just down the hall. And they're going to hand out pins in the afternoons, and there will be pins on the trees that are, I don't see them, not yet on their, not yet on our lovely outfits tonight. It's not April yet, of course. Well, we wouldn't want to use them too early. So anyway, they'll be there, and please help yourself if the children are at school, which they will be until the afternoon. Again, thank you for your support, sir. And Pat, would you like to say a couple of words?
You said it well. You said it well. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Again, thank
Okay,
you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
let me present you with the proclamation
Thank
before
you,
you guys
Okay,
get away.
thank you very much,
And,
sir.
and again, we appreciate you being active in this cause. That's just a great thing to do.
Thanks.
It really is.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you, sir.
All right, next item on our agenda is our audience for visitors. It is at this time that if there's anyone in the audience that would like to address council on any issue, we'd be delighted to hear from you. And I have a speaker card from Mr. Steve Pappas. If you'd like to go first.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Miss you down the hall.
Well, first, thank you, sir. 137 Fremore Drive, Poquoson, Virginia, proudly. And yes, you might miss me, I appreciate that. And just so you know, I've been retired now for 2 months, and it's the first time I put a tie on, so you guys are very important to this little speech I'm going to give here. As you all know, Honorable Mayor, council, members of council, and Mr. Randy Wheeler, the dredging of Lambs Creek has been ongoing for some time. There are, in the packet that we had, some 4 different memorandums dated, 2 from 2015, 1 from 2017, and 1 from 2021. And they all talk about it at different pricing levels, and these levels range from 1.261 million up to 2 million. And some include 5 Poquoson ancillary coves or dredge paths or creek coves. And then, I guess at the request of Poquoson, one of them was dropped off along Fremore Drive. And that's kind of what brings us here. So, if you'll indulge me, we, the 4 property owners of Fremore Drive listed below, and we've signed our names and given you our addresses, bordering Lambs Creek, would like to make our concerns known as you consider the proposed dredging project with your county. We've lived here for many years, some of us in excess of 45+ years. After a careful word-by-word review and analysis of the 20 pages that constitute this agenda topic, and by the way, I need to stop and say, you get so much to read. This was a lot, and this was the only thing we had to read. But we read every word and took notes. We, the aforementioned waterfront property owners, would like you to know that we are opposed to being considered for inclusion in the proposed Special Service District, or SSD, or the Special Service Tax Overlay District, depending on which municipality's definition of that taxable group you subscribe to. Our reasons for your consideration are: 1, we 4 derive 0 benefit from the dredging. We have sufficient water at our private pier heads and direct access to the main channel. Absorbing both the increased cost for the Special Services District tax and the inevitable increases in future property tax assessments would produce a significant financial burden for us as senior citizens. Dredging of Lamb Creek will cause irreparable financial loss to individual oyster farmers, as well as create environmental concerns for the creek. Additionally, we have concerns of currently disregarded wake damage, which will only increase after dredging. As noted numerous times within the various memos contained in the board packet, Lambs Creek has a northeast orientation and is subject to significant accretion. That's quote, end quote. This gradual filling by layers is exacerbated by the loss of the 2 natural barriers or jetties that extended westward from the Causey property of Poquoson and eastward from the Riggins property of Yorktown. And if you go in the hallways back here, downstairs, you can see aerial photos from way back when, and when I moved back here, those, you couldn't see the channel. Those have abated so significantly at this point, there is nothing that keeps damaging wave action from coming into Lambs Creek and silt and debris with it. So, with no current plan to reinstate these essential barriers, Lambs Creek will not only fill more quickly, but the properties facing the mouth of Lambs Creek in both municipalities will be subjected to destructive forces of increased wave action. The number of ancillary channels was modified from those originally identified, and you can see the chart on the next page. In her January 26, 2015 memo, Ms. Drake of York County, the engineer, states that at the request of Poquoson, she was asked to drop the ancillary channel that would serve the north side of Fremore Drive. The chart shows you that initially she had 5 Poquoson side alternative dredge areas, but she was asked to drop the Fremore Drive. And as such, she did so. The specific property addresses and numbers of the properties deemed to be north-facing were not identified. The chart below, actually on the next page, illustrates a difference of 28 taxable properties in Poquoson between the 2015 version of the memo that you have in your original board packet, and 4 ancillary in 2021 with 5 ancillary channels, many of which are associated with the north-facing properties on Fremore Drive, which have been eliminated. We, the undersigned property owners, respectfully request that Poquoson City Council also remove our 4 Fremore Drive waterfront properties from the special tax district, all of which have west or west-northwest facing piers, as they have direct access to the main channel and sufficient depth. Of course, you can see the chart there that kind of shows you the 4 memos, and under the ancillary channels, you see it's dropped from 5 to 4 at our request as a town, city. And then it goes on, and you can see that the pricing jumps all over the place, as you might expect. Number 7, the report states that the potential starting point for dredging be opposite Ocean Breeze Drive. We submit for your consideration that there's no need to dredge the main channel closer to the creek mouth than at the intersection of the Hamilton Circle Cove, the 4th Poquoson ancillary channel, and the main channel. See attached annotated map, please. Before you vote to proceed with this project, we believe that every single impacted property owner should be fully aware of the additional taxes that will be imposed on them, as well as the additional costs associated with every aspect of dredging before they're asked to vote for or against the dredging project. In summary, we ask that you consider the following: exempt property owners from the taxation overlay that already have ample depth and direct access to the main channel, compensate owners for damage done to oyster beds, restore the buffer areas on both sides of Lambs Creek in the vicinity of Darden Drive with concrete barriers to reduce wave action and flooding of properties down Lambs Creek during major storms. And then in closing, we trust that you too wish for your properties to be removed from the SSD taxation plan if your properties were located where ours are, with plenty of depth and access to the main channel. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
will you ask any other speakers to talk more directly into the microphone, please?
I didn't understand a word you said.
Yes, speakers to directly into the mic, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, bud. Anyone else?
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's move on. We have approval of our minutes, and I think from the work session on March 14th and from our regular session, March 14th, I think we can do this together.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes of the work session of March 14th, 2022, and our regular session of March 14th, 2022.
Okay, thank you, buddy. For a second? You want to adopt the minutes?
Second, but I have some comments.
Okay, go ahead.
On page 3, near the bottom, on quotes attributable to me, I went back and listened to it, and it really isn't exactly what I said. But I talked about, Councilman Feist stated that many bylaws state that according to Robert's rules, members are required to give a reason for abstaining, and what I said was they're required to vote. And then unless there is and as I said, it was a conflict of interest that would put you in a financial well-being that no one else would, as versus the legal or financial conflict thing. So if you could make that change, I would appreciate that.
Okay, buddy.
I'll amend my
Okay.
motion.
Second.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Kemp, please.
Councilwoman Andrews. Aye. Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
I was not at the meeting, but I reviewed the tape and read the minutes, and I believe the minutes reflect what happened at the meeting, so I'll say aye.
Councilman Hux.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel. Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Next item on our agenda is a public hearing. It is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Poquoson, Virginia by amending Chapter 6, Article 3, signs in the public right-of-way. Mr. Wheeler, any comments?
No, sir. Mr. Horton will represent the staff tonight, and between he and I, we'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Good evening, Wally.
Thank you. I'm hoping this mic works a little better than the one up front for Mr. Southall.
I can hear you fine.
This is a request for a text amendment to Chapter 6, Article 3 of the City Code, not the zoning ordinance, referring to the signs in the right-of-way. If you'll remember, back in January 24th, the City Council did initiate an amendment to allow what we're calling subdivision identification signs within the city right-of-way. And I believe the language that you've got in the approval motion is the same that you looked at that night, with one exception, and that is when we went to the Planning Commission, excuse me, they did vote 5-0 to recommend approval, with one additional sentence as added to Section 6-1141, which reads, quote, "The monument shall be constructed with materials of a permanent nature, being masonry, stone, and similar appearing materials." And that's really just an appearance thing. You know, you certainly want the sign to look decent. The ordinance amending Chapter 6, Article 3 has been amended to reflect, again, as I said a minute ago, the requested changes of City Council and the additional sentence of the Planning Commission. And with that, one other thing I'd like to point out is that although Legacy of Poquoson brought this forth, and you do have a sheet that shows the pictures of their sign, I want to make it clear that this is for the benefit and can be taken advantage of anybody else, particularly in future subdivisions. There's just not a lot of subdivisions out there now that can take advantage of it, but perhaps in the future there will be.
Thank you, Wally. Any questions of Wally before we open the public hearing?
Yes, I have some. First, I couldn't find the reference to the January 24th meeting. I don't have a problem with going for it now, but I know the mayor made a comment about having it and send it to the Planning Commission, which we did. So I have no problem there, but I just could not find it anywhere in our minutes from the 24th of January. First question is there any grandfathering of existing signs in any subdivisions in the city?
There would not be any grandfathering because there are no signs like this in subdivisions right now within the city. I mean, we're not changing the code to really affect existing signs.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Pretty sure there are some, okay. Is there a time limit to change those that are not in compliance? I live in Hunt Woods. There's a wooden sign that's kind of hidden by a rose bush right now, but it's basically attached to the fence that's by McPherson's garage. Obviously doesn't comply with this. The only thing you can see is the H in the Hunt.
Randy?
This would not require anyone to reconfigure their existing signs. It would provide an additional signage option for a certain qualifying type of developments. So it wouldn't go backwards to require anyone to do anything different.
Okay, because it talked like signs would be taken
Yeah,
down.
it's an additional permitted sign,
Okay.
not, right.
Okay. And bigger question, which you probably already answered, subdivisions are not required to have signs. You're saying that don't, so I'm assuming they don't have to have a sign if they don't want.
They don't have to have a sign, no.
Okay, that's
And
good.
certainly not a sign in the right of way, like is talked about here.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Now,
Any-
most
any other
subdivisions don't
comment?
want a sign.
Any other comments? Any questions of Wally? Thank you, Wally. Well done, sir. Okay, let's open the public hearing and ask if there is anyone in our audience that would like to speak to the amending of this ordinance. See anyone, so we'll close the public hearing, and we need some action from council.
Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Poquoson, Virginia by amending Chapter 6, Advertising, Article 3, Signs in Public Right-of-Way.
All right, thank you, sir.
Second.
And a second. Ms. Kemp?
Councilman Hucks,
Aye.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Green. Councilwoman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Fye,
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to new business. First item, consideration of draft letter to York County pertaining to the proposed Lambs Creek dredging project. I'm not going to have any comments on this tonight. You know, all of us have talked about this past week. Just so the public understands that the letter that was drafted, we're not going to act on it tonight. And you'll hear it in the motion in just a second, buddy.
Mayor, I move that we postpone this item until a work session can be held at our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay?
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. Any questions, any comments? If not, Kim, please.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Hucks.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Fye,
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews,
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, thank you, Kim. The second item is a resolution directing that public notice be given of council's intent to receive bids for the sale of publicly owned property located within the unimproved portion of Poquoson Avenue. Randy?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is the beginning of the formal process to receive public bids for the reference property. The way that the process works, assuming that you approve this resolution, is then we will publicly notice that this property, that we're entertaining sealed bids for this property. And then persons that are interested have the opportunity to submit a sealed bid to the clerk prior to the next meeting. And then we'll have a public hearing at your next meeting, during which time the clerk will open and read aloud any and all sealed bids we received. That will be part of the public hearing. Also as part of the public hearing, anyone that has submitted a bid or wishes to speak to any bid or about the potential sale of the property is welcome to speak as well. And then following the closing of the public hearing, it has been our tradition and what I think is very good practice to then postpone it for 2 more weeks to allow the public and everyone else to have an opportunity to be knowledgeable of what the bids were in case they weren't just sitting here when they got read. So this is the first of the 3 formal steps.
Okay. All right, Randy, thank you. Any questions of the manager? Okay, there's a resolution there. We need some action by council.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution of the Council of the City of Poquoson, Virginia, directing that public notice be given of the council's intention to receive bids for the sale of publicly owned property located within the unimproved portion of Poquoson Avenue.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and second. We adopt the resolution. Any concerns, comments, any questions? If not, Ms. Kim?
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilman Hucks.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
And Mayor Hessel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Let's move on to item 3. It's a resolution of council to apply an assessment ratio to the value of certain automobiles and trucks as authorized by the Code of Virginia 58.1-350, 1-3503B for the calendar tax year beginning January 1, 2022. Randy?
Mr. Mayor, Tanya is prepared to present. I'd
Okay.
also
Hey,
note for
Tanya.
you that our commissioner is here as well if you have a
Okay.
question of him.
That's correct. And I'm going to use the same as Wally, so Southall can hear us appropriately while we're at the mic. But tonight, we have a resolution presented in front of you for the calendar year of January 1, 2020 to December 31st, 2022. 2022. This is due to enlarge the fact that there's a shortage on new vehicles. Everybody's aware that, we get shipments from China, microchips weren't received, so therefore, if you have a used car, your value actually appreciated versus depreciated as it has in the past. So based on this, we have found that our values on our used properties have gone up extremely. So based on this, we're recommending to council to lower the assessed value of those certain automobile trucks to 90% versus 100% of what the commissioner is allowed to do. And so in order for the commissioner to do this prior to April 1st, we need to take action tonight, because this will affect the billing that citizens received June 5th, as well as the billing they received December 5th.
Tanya, thank you. Well done. Any questions of Tanya?
The question, will the 10% from 100 to 90, would that be enough to, so we're not just really taking advantage of our citizens?
The answer to that is no, sir. It is not designed to equalize the rate.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, Tanya, thank you. Well done. All right, we have a resolution. Someone prepare with a motion?
Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution of council to apply an assessment ratio to the value of certain automobiles and trucks as authorized by the Code of Virginia, Section 58.1-3503B for the calendar taxing year beginning January 1st, 2020.
All right, thank you, bud.
Second.
Motion made second. We adopt the resolution. Any concerns, comments? Any more questions of Tanya? Okay. Ms. Kim?
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Hucks.
Aye.
Councilman Fye.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Mayor Hessel.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Item 4, under new business, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for professional auditing services with Brown Edwards CPAs, LLP. Randy?
Mr. Mayor, we're going to recognize Lee Etheridge, our finance director, who will walk us through this item.
Okay, great. Hey, Lee.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. I bring before you tonight a resolution to enter into auditing services. The audit contract performed by Cherry Beckert, LLP, for the city, school board, and Economic Development Authority did not automatically renew at the end of the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. In accordance with the city's purchasing policies and the Virginia Public Procurement Act, the city requested and advertised for proposals for these services. The city received 3 proposals, and a committee of school and city personnel interviewed all 3 firms. After careful consideration, the committee has recommended that the city contract with Brown Edwards CPAs, LLP, for an initial term of 3 years with 2 additional 1-year renewal options. The cost of the audit service fees for the first year is $89,500. The increase in fees from the prior year audit contract is attributed to the increased reporting requirements for the recently issued statements for pension and other post-employment benefits and leasing by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. Please find the attached resolution for your consideration, which will authorize the city manager to enter into the auditing services contract with Brown Edwards CPAs LLP. I respectfully request council consider this motion, and I will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Well done, Lee. Thank you. Any questions of Lee?
Yes, I have one. What you read is pretty much what we got, but there's one sentence left out.
Yes.
Was that left out for a reason?
No, I just don't read everything in its entirety.
Okay, that's fine.
No reason there.
Because I'll read it, because I think the way it's written, assuming that it's correct, that the sentence that was left out has implications on us as we consider a standard operating procedures for our appointment of
Yes.
person to boards. And that was, the committee felt that after numerous years of using the same auditing services, that a fresh perspective on the financial processes of an organization can add value to fiscal processes, internal controls, and assuring governmental standards are followed continuously, which is something I think that when we go about making our SOP, that we take into consideration when it comes to the reappointment of people.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Lee, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
All right, we got a motion?
Move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract for professional auditing services with Brown Edwards CPAs LLP.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, we adopt the resolution. Any more comments, questions? Okay, Ms. Kim?
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Hey, thanks, Kim. Item 5 is a resolution making appointments to the Economic Development Authority. Someone prepared with some names?
Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution making appointments to the Economic Development Authority with the following names inserted: Alan E. Meats, Donald F. Booth, Jr. Both terms will expire March 31st, 2026.
I'll second that and have some comments if it's okay.
Okay, sure, go
In
ahead.
doing my homework, I was looking at the members of the Economic Development Authority, and Alan is the chairman right now. He's been on that board for 12 years. Donald is vice chairman, and he's been on there for 12 years. They have one other member who's been on there for 14 years, but they have 4 members that have been over there just over 1 year. So I think it's important that we do approve that these 2 gentlemen to continue with the leadership and keep the Economic Development Authority staffed with qualified and experienced people.
Okay, any other comments? All right, there's a resolution, we need a motion. Get one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Marty,
I did.
okay,
And I second
Terry? Okay, oh, Keith did, right. Okay, so are there any further questions, any comments? If not, Ms. Kim?
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thanks, Kim. Item 6 is a resolution making appointments to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Mr. Green, I think you've got some names?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution making appointments to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board with the following names inserted: for the Central Precinct, Crystal Hauser; Eastern, Stephen C. Forrest; Western, Eden R. Harris; at-large, Judith G. Massey; and the other at-large, Christine Schultz. All terms will expire March 31st, 2025.
Okay, you got a second?
Second.
All right, been motion made and second. Any comments from anyone?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Similarly, Steve Forrest is the vice chairman, and he's been on there since 2017. Eden is the current chairperson, appointed back in 2018. Judy's been on, she's good experience for 2007. They have one member that was appointed way back in 1996, one member in 2027 and 2 members in 2020. So again, I think we have a good mix here of experience as well as new people on this board, and I wholeheartedly endorse the recommendations or the motion put forth by Councilman Green.
Okay, so we have a motion made and we had a second. Ms. Kim?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Kim. Comments to city manager?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Okay. Council directors, Ms. Jana, anything?
I have to go before Bud tonight.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. What would Bud say? I wanted to thank the citizens for speaking tonight. I always like it when citizens get involved and make the effort to come up and make their position known for things that are happening in their community. I'm really glad that we're going to have a work session on that. I think it's clearly important to the citizens, so it's important that we do that sometime, I think. Thanks for the Exchange Club for all the work you do. Our city's made better by all our volunteer organizations that we have. And thank you to the citizens watching at home. Bud would say that. He'll probably say that, but that's all I have.
Okay, Bud?
Yeah, Jana did a great job of starting off, because that's about the way I would also. I do agree with her, and I encourage all the citizens to pay careful attention to their city government. It's very important.
Thank you, Bud. Hope you feel better.
I'm fine, thank you.
David?
Thank you, Gordon. I have no comment.
Okay, buddy?
No comment, sir.
Keith?
Yes, last week I was fortunate enough to be able to attend the Board of Zoning Appeals and listen to how they conduct their business, just trying to get to know everybody. And I was amazed. I thought they did an outstanding job. The individuals of Melvin Emerson, Russell Treacy, Mark Kramer, Stephen Hahn, and Ryan Holloway did an excellent job. Not only did they come across as being knowledgeable, but they felt caring. I know the persons that they made recommendations for and against probably weren't happy with everything they said, but they were really taking the city into consideration and protecting the environment. So I was, kind of kudos to those guys. I was impressed.
Okay, thank you. Kerry?
Nothing further.
And nothing from me. Is there a motion to adjourn? So move, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Second.
Motion made, second, we adjourn. Ms. Kim?
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hucks?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Fye?
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Mayor Hessel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned.